Welcome to the Tourism Hub podcast, a podcast devoted to you and your excellence, providing inspiration and education for the entrepreneurs, experience makers, and excellence seekers of our industry to take your tourism business and career to a whole new level.
Relax.
Hello, thank you for joining me. Dana Ronan, everybody, from Nourish Group. So there's been two wonderful announcements this morning. I'm going to give the drum roll. Next year's 2025. I just missed it to share it with you live. Where are we going to next year, Dana?
We're going to the Adelaide Hills, beautiful Adelaide Hills, only 20 minutes out of the city of Adelaide, and a stunning regional destination on the cusp of a big city.
On the cusp of a big city. So 2025 Art Convention, Adelaide Hills. Start. Do we have a date yet? I missed that. I don't think we have a date. But it's normally around this
similar
time
each year. It'll be October
So
next
just,
year.
tentatively block your diaries for now until the more firm dates come.
Absolutely.
Dana, you've been doing incredible work. I've loved meeting you. I only met you yesterday, but I feel like I've known you for a long, long time.
Feel the same.
Thank you. Another shout out to G Girl. It's doing incredible things.
Thank you,
Also, Giovanna, you're here, mate.
You're
here.
You're with us.
You're with us. So you've made a great and very significant announcement in some work that you're doing in collaboration with art. Please share.
Thanks, Despina. Yeah, look, at really exciting partnership that Nourish Group have formed with Australian Regional Tourism. And we're looking, I guess, at the next advancement of the ESG journey, or environmental, social and governance journey, that many regions, local governments, private businesses are going on. And we're looking at the social aspect of social impact and social value that tourism has within local and regional communities. So we've formed a fantastic new partnership, which is to use a fabulous tool called the Australian Social Value Bank to start to look at quantifying social value, which many people, I'm sure, have been measuring, I guess, the softer measurement aspects of social value, but there's not always been hard, sentiment aspects that can be quantified, particularly down to, say, some sort of cost-benefit analysis or ratios that can be compared similar to an economic impact ratio. And so we, in partnership with the Australian Social Value Bank, we're working together to be able to offer regions packages to be able to undertake their first steps, tentative steps forward in quantifying social value.
Wow. A lot to unpack there.
There's a lot to unpack there, yes.
No, I loved it's this focus on going beyond the visitor dollar, isn't it?
Yes.
The value, when we're talking about social impact and the value of that, it's really extending to what does this mean for these communities? Would I be right
Absolutely.
in saying that?
You're absolutely right. So social in this context doesn't mean let's get them to the pub and have a wine and cheese platter. Social means, in this case, the social distribution of the benefits of tourism across the wider community. So we're thinking now more, rather than thinking from the lens of generating more visitors in the context of visitor numbers and visitor spend. It's actually about the distribution of the contribution those visitors make to the communities. And also, I guess, on the B2B side of tourism, those industry development programs, capability building, capacity building, industry strengthening that so many regions and local governments do all the time. It's actually thinking and quantifying the long-term benefits of those skills developments on the residents in their community, the impact it has, and the growth over time that those impacts make to people's well-being. And so this is the measurement metric that we're using is a social well-being index, because what we're looking for is for tourism to make a contribution to an improved well-being of our communities.
And in the case study that we just heard earlier, the concept of over-tourism, it was, Sunshine Coast and Noosa specifically. Yes. There's also in those regions where there's a little bit more community, I guess, challenges around embracing what visitation has done to their smaller, beautiful regional areas. This can also have a benefit to counteract that as well.
Absolutely. So this is engaging with residents as opposed to, I guess, asking residents what they think of tourism, it's actually sharing with residents the impact that tourism has beyond the visitors they see in the street. So it's that beyond the economic impact of, oh, tourists spend this much in our economy, it's actually that, well, actually having tourism benefits you through, in a well-being sense, that the organic nature of having visitors around, the visitor spend, the training programs we do creates, I guess, a sense of well-being, a growing self-esteem, an ability for people who participate in these programs to then also participate more fully in the community more broadly. And so I think, as you know, the Noosa example, you know, without the visitors around, you as a resident wouldn't then have people who then clean your pool or mow your lawns, or because the ability for the actual community to function benefits from the overall well-being that tourism creates within the community.
Dana, this is so important. Like,
Really
this
great
is
piece of
really, really good piece of work.
Yeah.
And your background, you've been involved in a lot of interesting projects like this. So for this particular, do you have a model? Like, is this the first? Do we have something to go on as a model or another case study of where this has benefited?
Not a specific one like the partnership we've just formed with ART. I think what is exciting is that we're leaning into other industries, and I love seeing that maturing of tourism's thinking about itself as an industry that contributes to the broader economy and community. I think sometimes we can be our own worst enemy a little bit. We do present ourselves as a good time and a fun and an entertaining industry, you know, and it can be really joyful to work in tourism. But at the same time, our communities that we work in have many complex social challenges that exist across the board. And I think that's what I love about this piece of work is that we're leaning into comparing ourselves to other industries like health, like community services, like the NDIS, those sorts of things, to share, I guess, in the contribution that we can make to the well-being of our communities, which then rises all boats. So it's a new language for us as a tourism sector. It's a new way of thinking about ourselves, not just in the output of what we do in terms of developing a toolkit or developing a plan or even running an event. But it's actually really thinking through those things to the impact we want to make and the lasting legacy of so much of what we do, and how it impacts the people who live there, not just the visitors who come and experience our destinations.
And what better way to start with the regions, like doing this
Absolutely
in regional destinations?
Absolutely. Well, the great thing with the tool that we've chosen to use, which has been developed by a lovely lady called Mincito, but Australian Social Value Bank uses publicly available government data that's been fed into and has algorithms that sit over the top of it to develop the Wellbeing Index. But it's actually all throughout the tool, many of the social impacts that it enables us to analyse are weighted that the impact is greater if it's delivered in a regional area. So it's whilst it's not designed for tourism, it's perfect for us as a tourism industry.
Kudos, congratulations, Lauren, our chief,
Love
yourself. Love. I mean, this is definitely right up her alley. You couldn't find a perfect partnership and pairing to execute this. So I wish you all the very best and good luck. And I'll be following with great interest. So next year we'll have some good stuff
Thank
to
you.
share.
Well, hopefully we can, from a few of the speakers, I'm a bit concerned. There seems to be a 10-year gap between when people are invited back to speak again. So hopefully I may get a Guernsey to speak at Adelaide Hills, but I'll certainly be in the audience.
Oh, yeah. I think that will be, I'll speak to my people.
My people speak to your people.
That's the same.
Oh, they're the same people.
Yeah. So have you been to art before?
Yes. So 2022, I think this is my third one. But in 2022, I was very fortunate. One other project I've done with art is the National Agri Tourism Strategy Framework. So I was the project manager and author of that.
Yeah.
And we used a very similar methodology where I'm a co-design facilitator and human-centered designer. And so we very much co-designed the National Agri Tourism Strategy with industry. So we interviewed more than 100 operators and 50 other stakeholders across the 12 months that project had come about. And yes, so in 2022, I was at the at conference.
That was the one in Ballarat that was launched.
In Ballarat.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay,
it was. And then we launched, we had a National
Yeah.
Agri-Tourism Day, and we launched that strategy at the 2022 convention.
Excellent.
So,
And you've done some local work in your hometown in Ballarat with Sparrowley around, that was an agri-tourism inspired project too. So good on you too. Shout out to Tourism Midwest.
Absolutely, yeah. Tourism Midwest Victoria is doing some great work, and yes, I'm now currently mentoring 3 new farmers into the who are exploring opportunities or improving their existing opportunities in agri-tourism to grow their visitor economy for their own little farms.
Incredible. Well done.
Wonderful.
Well done. So you would have really enjoyed the forum on Wednesday as well.
Yeah, it's some great work, and I know Kate Schilling really well.
Yeah.
And she's doing some fabulous work in really spearheading this. As I think, from Tourism Australia's perspective, the indications are certainly that this is far bigger than what they anticipated as a sector opportunity, and agri-tourism is a sector that Australia has an opportunity to shine at on a global scale. So it's really exciting times.
Really exciting times. Now, you're a former human of TA. You've been to a lot of tourism conferences, regionally, nationally, state conferences. How, in your experience, how does this convention compare, and what would you like to share with anyone that might be on the fence about, maybe they haven't been before, it's been a while, to give them some more inspiration about considering coming to join us in Adelaide Hills?
That's a great question. What I love about the art convention is how tailored it is to their stakeholders. They really understand who their audience is, and we quite often see Tourism Australia speak, or we quite often see our STOs speak. I love the tailoring of people's insights to the regional audience that's in the room, but also even more granular, the audience that is RTOs and local government, who have a very different, quite often have a very different take on tourism compared to, say, the supply side or the industry side, who are operating at the coalface. And it's always a balancing act when you get multiple audiences in a room. So go to something like a Destination Australia for Tourism Australia's, one of their signature industry events, and that's fantastic at bringing together 800 or 900 people plus people online. But when you get that level of scale, you always have to compromise in terms of the messaging. It becomes really broad. ART convention is just such a fantastic, thoughtful, tailored, insightful event that is really tailored for regional tourism organisations, local government representatives of tourism, people running events in local and regional areas. And I think takes out quite often what we see, the bias of city-based tourism, or those states where perhaps it's more hub and spoke around a city. This is local people talking about the needs of local and regional people.
So beautifully articulated.
Thank you.
Oh, I want to run a session on AI. You need no AI, girl.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
No,
I'm going to use that as an example.
There
Dana.
you go. There you go. Maybe I'll start my chat Dana instead of chat GPT.
Imagine that.
There you go.
Chat Dana. Yeah. I'll get a bit of that for my that's
Sorry,
that's
got to go and register it.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, it's
Thank
lovely,
you
Jess.
for the
Lovely to-
work that you're doing, you'll
most
continue to do, and you're a Victorian tourism sister.
I am a Victorian tourism sister. I've
Yeah.
lived in Victoria I did have a few years in Sydney and a few years in Adelaide. And I've been really fortunate that across almost my entire career, I have focused on domestic tourism. So I started life with AAT Kings as a trainee manager with AAT Kings, and very quickly got into the inbound side to understand inbound tourism. Didn't feel the need to go and work in international destinations because the inbound side of our industry fulfilled the conversations with the international and global tourism space, but I've always loved Australia as a product, and the evolution of Australia from products to experiences, and the embracing of our nature-based assets and the beautiful things we have to share and showcase in regions. Why would you do anything else?
We've got so much goodness, so much good going on.
Fabulous.
Yeah, fabulous.
No need to go anywhere.
Yeah, I hear you. Yes.
So,
Thank you.
Great.
Enjoy the
Despina.
rest. We're on the final stretch now.
We are on the final home stretch. We
Yeah.
are nearly, I think we're just about out of sausage rolls. So it's time to wrap up. And
Time to wrap up. Well, thank you. I'm glad we made this happen, and I did interrupt Dana with the sausage roll in hand, and like, before you take that bite, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching live. Thank you for watching the
Thanks, everyone, for
replay.
the
And
interest.
yes, a lot still to come. And that's what I love about this. Now we've continue the conversation, not just at the convention.
No, this is a kickoff.
Yeah.
Well and truly a kickoff or a soft launch, I guess.
Yeah,
And this is a long road, similar to sustainability. Social value and social impact is going to be a long discussion that evolves and deepens over time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dana.
Wonderful. Thanks, Despina.
Wonderful.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
See you in Adelaide.
See you in Adelaide.
Adelaide Hills.
Adelaide Hills.
Relax.